Now, my name is Kyron John, and I am the CEO and lead photographer at Foreign Collect Photography. And today, we are going to get into AI technology and its use within photography. I do want to talk about one specific program that I started using that I think every photographer who's worth their salt should actually start using. Let's get into it. Alright guys, ignore my I got a stain on my hat from I don't know, I guess when I was cleaning the bathroom the guy got bleach on it. Anyways, so I'm kind of excited, right? I know there's been a lot of talk about AI and stuff like that in the art world and the photography world and how it will help and how it can harm photographers and artists alike. But hear me out. I think there is a way that it can be beneficial. Maybe not in the way of, being sourced copyrighted work, like with the apparently with the Lensa app and stuff like that. There's some stuff going on behind that apparently, but I mean, I did it, I had some fun, but let's not take away from the fact that there are true artists out there who deserve our money. There are artists out there who are putting a lot of effort and hard work into their art, and we should pay them. We shouldn't be paying an app. But hey, it's a trend. It was dope. It was cool to see myself in a different light, like, with hair and all that different stuff. But today's topic, I wanted to talk specifically in the world of AI about this editing app that I found. I've been seeing quite a few around a lot with, more popular photographers, but I think it could be beneficial. If any of you guys are like me in the world of editing, Jesus, that thing is so tedious. Not like, I love editing portraits and food, but events, I've been shooting a lot of events this year. I shot a lot of weddings, and to sit there and go through thousands of footage, trash. So I found this app. I was watching, I think it was Taylor Jackson. He's one of those like wedding photographers that I definitely look up to. But I was watching one of his videos and he mentioned it. It was a while ago. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Then one of my other friends, I heard them talk about an app that does culling and stuff like that. Didn't really pay too much attention to it. I'm like, I'm gonna do it old school. I'm gonna stick to my editing. Sit there and go through hours and hours and hours, and I'm gonna edit all my photos to say that I did it. Well, the other day, I decided, what's the worst that can happen? So, I downloaded that app. It's called Imagen AI, a software editing app that works with Lightroom. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen and stuff like that, do a segment of just, focusing on that. But, so, download this app. I had a few events that I did last weekend, all probably average around like 1,500 photos, right? Cool. So with that app, you go in there, you put in about 3,000 photos, and it kind of learns your style, right? So it learns your style, and then what it does, it takes a while to process all those photos and stuff like that. If you have a good consistent style, let's say you shoot like 15 weddings and it's all the same, and you take like 200, 300 of your best photos, you put all of those into the AI system and it will literally learn the process of your style, right? So once it does that and it processes everything out, cool. You go in there, you put in a catalog from your Lightroom library, and in about an hour or two, depending on how many photos, boom, you check that out. There's a little adjusting that you might have to do and whatnot, probably boost the exposure a little bit, but boy, I'm not even gonna lie to you, that thing was clutch. Like, I'm like, oh, what? I'm never editing events ever again. What's the point of even doing that? Like, portraits, like I said, is one thing. Product photography is one thing because, there's kind of like a style that you may have. And, it takes a little while. It's more tedious to get certain things right. But in terms of editing, like portraits and editing, like events, don't waste your time sitting down and editing for hours and hours and hours and hours. Yo, download that app. I'm not even gonna lie to you right now. I'm not even sponsored by these people, but download that app. It will save you a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? If you're a photographer who's always out shooting events, you shoot concerts, all those different stuff, you can literally put your own profile of how you edit into that system. You could create different profiles within the system. Like I said, I want to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So you could create a profile for events, a profile for dark and moody weddings, for light and airy weddings, for all those different styles that you may have. And if this particular wedding is that particular style, boom, you put that in there and you're good. Stop wasting time sitting down at the computer, wasting time. And it's not necessarily a waste of time, but it is. Clicking one photo at a time and editing, one photo at a time, editing. You sitting there going through that thing for days. And any of you guys who shoot weddings, you already know. Editing like entire packages of wedding photography from beginning to end could end up being 3,000, 4,000 photos. And sitting there and going through that, you could be taking time to shoot more, do something else, play some video games in between that same time that you would have been dedicating to spending hours and hours and hours editing. You know what I'm saying? Editing event photos, editing things that are, this thing will literally save you a lot of time on. So imagine AI, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Yo, I'm never editing event photos ever again. Now, I feel like for the future of things, what does that mean for the future of photography? What does that editing app mean for the future of photography? I feel like it could be one of two things. Can it be harmful? Maybe not. Maybe in terms of if people who are your clients catch on to maybe how you're doing certain things, maybe you're charging an editing fee, but would you really have to still charge an editing fee because of the fact that you got this thing to be able to learn your style and edit for you? Or what about for the people whose main jobs, they're editors? Like, what does that mean for them? Will this take away from their job? Yes and no. I feel like it's a slippery slope. You know, like the artistry side of things. If you could just put a few pictures into an AI creation system and it makes like 100 avatars of you, it could definitely be depressing and definitely intimidating for an artist to be like, damn, I can't compete against that. But at the end of the day, like I said, I still feel like people are going to always appreciate a hand-painted art that came from a human. You think people are gonna be like, oh man, no need to go to a museum and look at all this beautiful art no more. No need to look at art galleries because a computer's making them. Nah, I don't think so. I think humans still appreciate things that take hard work and determination and a skill. You know what I'm saying? There's still film cameras from a photography realm, and a videography realm. There's still film cameras. I know a couple of places out here, like even the camera doctor out here in New York, where they have a whole slew of old film cameras in there, and people are still coming in there with their cameras and getting it fixed to this day. You know what I'm saying? Even though the process seems out of date. So I don't think AI is gonna ruin. I think it's going to be more work in conjunction with, how we do things as photographers and as artists. Like I said, with this app in particular, to be able to have an app edit 1,000 photos in the span of an hour, instead of you sitting there and doing that and taking so much half of your day, because you guys already know it could take days to edit a whole entire portfolio. So at the end of the day, yeah, I feel like it's helpful. I feel like it has its benefits. I guess it depends on you, how you look at it. Everybody, a lot of the time, appreciates more of a purist standard. There's a lot of photographers who started off with film who will never touch a digital camera because they're purists. They're like, film is the way to go. Why would I ever get a digital camera? I appreciate the fact of going into the dark room and getting the proper exposure on my photos. Hey, nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But the world changes, and sometimes you have to maneuver with it. If not, you're going to get left behind. So, like I said, it's definitely beneficial. I'm pretty sure there's going to be people out there who are like, no, I would never use an AI editing software system to be able to aid in, my photography. But I feel like in the long run, especially now after this whole entire year, doing as many shoots and events as I did, if I found this at the beginning of the year, the burnout would have been I would have had less burnout. A lot of my burnout literally comes from me editing for long periods of time. I'm like, damn, I could literally be doing something else, but I'm sitting here editing these event photos, one photo at a time. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, yeah, sometimes you could go on there, you could copy and paste a good amount, but if you're shooting weddings, if you're shooting events, a lot of the time, the environment changes. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're using Flash, that's one thing. Even if you aren't using Flash, the environment changes. So you can't copy and paste the same exact settings on all 2,000-3,000 photos. It's not gonna look good. You know what I'm saying? So with an app like this, it definitely helps. Like I said, there's a little tweaks you may have to go in there and do and just update it a little bit. But listen, I would take a jab at it, man. Take a jab at it, and let me know what you think. Yeah, so I feel like it's definitely going to change the game for the future of photography. I think it's definitely a slippery slope in terms of figuring out like what it really means for photographers and artists in terms of like utilizing AI. You know, I know the AI artistry is kind of different. I'm not too knowledgeable on that yet. I'm still doing my research. But you know, like people like my sister, she's a painter, she's an artist. And you know, of course, there's concerns in terms of like, you know, people's whether they respect fully enough like what artists are doing to be like, I'm still gonna pay an artist to do something for me, for my company, for my business, whether it's a logo, whether it's a commissioned painting, whether it's a mural. I think there's going to be there's continued room for artists who are putting hard work into their craft to get paid. You can never get rid of that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, even these AI systems, it can't really create anything from scratch. It's creating based off of previous work. It's like this AI system that I'm telling you about, the editing app. You still have to input your own edited photos into the app in order for it to even edit. Yeah, of course there's edit profiles that's already in there from, you know, photographers like Taylor Jackson and John Branch, you know, photography, like those big wedding photographers. But in order for it to, everybody has their own style as photographers. So in order for that thing to even work, it literally has to feed off of your work. So in a way, yeah, of course, it's creating art. It's able to mimic and edit. It's able to mimic and create a portrait. But it's not necessarily really like authentic in that way, to be honest. Because again, it's mimicking. It's a mimic program. You know what I'm saying? It's not creating from scratch. Now, if it's creating from scratch, that might be a different conversation. That might be kind of crazy. But at the end of the day, it's not creating from scratch. So I think there's room for photographers and for artists to be able to kind of like almost like collaborate. You know, the world is changing. You literally gotta be able to adapt. If you're a person who's into animation, I know you'll find ways to incorporate AI into your work to make it a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying? And you, like I said, you see it here with photography. I know there was a video by Carl Taylor where he was talking about photography versus like 3D editing. Now there was like a video that he did where he had an editor come in there and basically do the exact same thing that he did, that he photographed, the guy did inside of a 3D element system. Now, are people are going to be able to be like, you know what, we're done with product photography, I'm just going to pay somebody to recreate a 3D rendition inside a program? I don't think most people are going to go that route. That might be something that goes towards like higher, you know, bigger budgets. It's like in Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? Like they have way better systems, they have way better programs that they use to render that the average Joe is not really using. You know what I'm saying? So there's thousands of photographers, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of photographers, there's thousands of artists. Most people are not gonna be like, yo, yeah, let's just use an app. Nobody's gonna be like, I'm gonna use an AI portrait making app to take my wedding photos for me. I don't see that ever happening. That it doesn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? So yes, is there reason to be concerned in terms of like, yo, AI and what it means for the future? Yes and no. But I feel like I, you know, told my sister, we all having this conversation. It's like, yo, when you are confident in your work, you don't really have to worry about being expendable. I think that's one of the things, like, yo, what people are intimidated about is like the fact that like, yo, we can be expendable. But if you literally are so deep into your niche and your craft that nobody can kick you to the side, even against an AI program, you got people out here who are literally able to draw these same type of renditions that this AI program drew, you know what I'm saying, to the T with their own hand. You can't not respect that. I will never not respect an artist who's able to do that versus a computer. We already know computers are super intelligent. We use them every day. We use phones every day. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, yeah, there's certain things you're not gonna really be like sit here and negate. You're not gonna disrespect the artist to be like, I'm never going to an artist again because I can just get my pictures from AI. That's not happening. That's not happening. I don't think that's happening. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, is there room to be concerned? Yes. Is there room to be hopeful for the future in terms of what that means? Of course. Of course. In Photoshop, you damn near got artificial intelligence when you use the masking tool. When you tell it to cut out the shape of a person, that's AI. That's beneficial. And nobody wants to sit there and use the pen tool and take out each person every single time. If you editing like 10, 15 photos, that's hell. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to have that system within that program is beneficial. One click, it selects the cutout. You probably go in there to do a little fine tuning and boom, you're good. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, I can see how AI can be beneficial. This editing, Imagine AI system, you can't even tell me. Like I said, if you're a purist, yeah, you might sit there and be like, oh, look, things like this are watering down the true art of photography. No, it's not. No, it's not. There's a lot of burnout that comes from sitting down and editing all day, day in and day out, editing all these events. That's why photography wedding turnaround times are sometimes 3 months. You don't want to sit there and just be editing all day, all night. You're missing out on things throughout the day just because you're sitting there for hours on end editing. Nah, things like this are beneficial, man. Super beneficial. So to me, I feel like there's two ways to look at certain things, and like in the photography realm, I feel like I said, like a lot. If any of you guys watch other YouTubers, you already know they already talk big about having your niche. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying now, get to the place where you're not expendable. That's what I'm trying to get to. I'm still working on my niche within like being like food and product photography. Like I love weddings, but I'm trying to really niche down in those two realms because I already learned that there's a lot of money to make out here, and people they love having great photos. You know what I'm saying? So if a photo like if an app like Imagine AI can help you by cutting back on time for you to get into your niche, for you to be able to focus more time on like getting better, and that thing can edit a series of photos within a couple of hours, why not? Why not give it a try? You know what I'm saying? Now, Imagine AI, if y'all want to sponsor me, I would love it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, yeah, I had to get on here and make a video about that because I was just so amazed, and I'm just like, yo, if you're a photographer who shoots a lot, this program is definitely for you. So, hey, like and subscribe. Got more videos coming soon. If you like it now, you're gonna love it later. Peace.
What's good, guys? Your boy Kyron John here. So in this edit, I forgot to let you guys know that I'm going to do a two-part series to my video on Imagine AI. All right, so we're going to split this up into 2 parts, and the second one I'm going to kind of go in depth on how to use Imagine AI and how to be able to edit photos with that program by itself. All right, so stay tuned for part 2. All right, so stay tuned for part 2.